Morning, Arliss. How you doing this morning? Morning, Arliss. How you doing today? Why did a corrupt calendar go to prison? How you doing? Because he was Monday laundering. I got a good show for you folks this morning. Couple questions this morning to get started. How do you keep the dream alive on a Monday? Hit the snooze button. And why was Sunday afraid of Monday? Because Monday through Friday. Just getting ready to go here this morning. Can't wait to join you folks in the chat. Speaking of chat, let's just have a look at this. Here, let's get the chat working this morning. Boom. Prime 406 games, have you heard? Why was Sunday afraid of Monday? Because Monday through Friday? Have you guys heard of bricks? Question for you. Serious question, money question this morning. Hit the poll button if you haven't heard of it yet. We're gonna go over it for a minute here today. And why was the broom late for work? Because he overswept. All right, that's enough here. Let's get going. Good morning, fans, beautiful and amazing people tuning in from all around the world. Thank you, folks, for joining me on the Monday show. It's May the 8th, 2023. When did the king have his jousting contest? On Monday night. All right, let's do the show here. It's going to be a good one, a little bit of hilarity today. Keeping the dream alive here on a Monday. Hit the snooze button. That's one way to do it. Thanks for joining here on the channel. Going to have an interesting show here today. We're going to do a couple of headlines. We're going to get onto your movers and the shakers here this morning. I got a couple of interesting articles to bring to you folks today. Have you heard of bricks on the show? We're going to look at Hasbro stock. We're going to ask the question, have you folks heard of bricks? That's what I mean. You know, when you drawing magic cards off the top of the deck and you hit a brick, you're like, oh, I totally bricked out here, Brody. No, that's not the kind of brick that we're referring to. We're referring to a different kind of brick. The kind that has to do with finance and money in the world of finance. That's a concept that I've been hearing a little bit more and more about just recently. So if you haven't heard of it yet already, please, we're going to talk about it just a little bit. It's a moniker for a few countries is what it is. We're going to go over that today, but before we start the show, we're going to take a look at a couple of AI generated magic cards here for you folks. We know it's always fun doing that. It's a good way to start the Monday. Let's go ahead, take a couple of looks at some AI generated magic cards. I know your time is valuable and you don't have time to waste. So if the card is playable, well, any way whatsoever, you're going to hear this sound. We'll give it a pass, and if it's a piece of junk, a clunker, if it's a decrepit old jalopy that we don't want anything to do, but if there's any word salad on the card whatsoever, you'll hear this sound. That's the sound of the buzzing, cousin. All right, let's get into it. Let's take a look at this card. This is one for the history books here today. Iliation. Is that, I think that's how we say it. What do we got going on here? Vampire Spirit. Oh, Spirit. Like Bob Cratchit here joining us this morning on the stream. Oh, Spirit. Oh, Vampire Iliation. Let's get the chat working here this morning. I want to talk to you, share your thoughts, share your opinions, and say, it's the best darn magic show ever. Okay. Thank you. Arliss, Benny, Richie Dubs here in the house. All right, Benson and friends, morning once again. Great to have you back. All right, let's check it out. This is a Vampire Spirit 1/1. It costs you 1 red and 2. It's a little pricey. And what does it do for us? You pay an Izzet. Ooh, an Izzet Vampire. All right, you pay a red or a blue, or 2. A red or a blue and 2. Target creature gets 1/0 until end of turn. And then a blue and 1. Iliation can't attack this turn as though it didn't have Defender. I don't see Defender on it. So it's got that, just in case somebody gives it Defender. Morning, DJ Longhair. Thank you for joining us. And a black and a black or a green and a black or a green, and tap it. Iliation deals 1 damage to any target. Exile Iliation. Jeepers, Louipers. Let's get out of there. Let's get it out of here. Simply because we can't stand this card just because it's got this Defender text on it that, well, I guess that it's just bad. It's just bad. Like the whole loses Defender until end of turn. Just made a thumbnail and a link to Sunday's Loaded Piper. Nice. Let's get it out of here. Aren't you glad we failed this, Richie Dubs? Brazil, Russia, India, China. Oh, some bricks. Somebody's heard of it. We're talking finance this morning. We're going to be talking some magic cards, but for now, we're going to hit up some AI. Fair, OP, unplayable word salad. Ugh. Let's give it fair. Unplayable. Dang it. I should have gone to my first instinct. All right, we're warming up. That's what we're warming up here this morning. Silver Gale Strider. A Boros Planeswalker. Boros. This thing is so boring. A white, a red, and 1 for a Planeswalker aura. 3 loyalty on it. A +1. Look at all the minuses this one has. This is all the minuses on this Planeswalker aura here. Smokes. Gosh, this is going to get me warmed up. All right, let's check it out. +1, choose target spell or ability. Foretell, bear more life this turn. 0. Until your next turn, you may cast spells from among cards exiled with Silverglade Strider, and you may spend mana as though it were any mana of any color to cast those spells. That's a 0. -2. Destroy target attacking creature, then look at the top cards of your library. Top 3. You may reveal a black card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in any order, random order. Otherwise, put that card into your hand and shuffle. A -5. Silverglade Strider deals 7 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. Okay. And then, what's this last one? How did I... -2, create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control. It gains menace. And then -8, draw once. Target permanent becomes a 4/4 black zombie giant and red planeswalker. You may cast it without paying its mana. Oh, there it is. That's some kind of bogusness. Can't stand it. Let's get it out of here. Let's get the chat working here this morning. I like it. Having a little bit of trouble here with stream fumbling and bumbling along. All right. Foreign policy nerd. All you foreign policy nerds. We're trying to figure out what this bricks. Brody hit a brick over the weekend, so we're trying to figure out what it means. But Benson's helping us out. Morning, Benson. The Silverglade Strider seems word salad. Let's give it some words. Yes. For something with... It looks like... Doesn't it look like Elish Norn, Mother Machines? A little bit, but in like a Planeswalker kite. It kind of looks like a ripoff of the Elish Norn. I think. Unless there's like another kind of type of creature that looks like this red and white. It's very Canadian, eh? It's got his red and white tuxedo on. Very nice. All right, what else we got here? Constant Tempest. Constant Tempest. This is an instant. Instantly casting this card. Is it instantly good? Is it instantly bad? What is it? Morning, DJ. Where's the fish camel? Benson was a fish camel? I couldn't agree more with you. You need to make the dice challenges, post the big cards, and pure shill. The Alliance is talked about as a threat to the U.S. hegemonic dollar-based system. Best way I can describe it. Yeah, like, should we be saving yuan under the pillow or maybe in the backyard? Benson's so smart. Very smart fella. Where's my demon squirrel? I want a demon squirrel planeswalker. All we got is this Constant Tempest. All you do, Brody, is constantly tempesting me. What's the best time to get a discount on parts for your robot, by the way? Cyborg Monday. That's when you get them. All right, let's look at this Constant Tempest. 6 mana, 2 blue and 4. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Then you can cycle it for a white and 3. It's also got this in parentheses and brackets. It says, discard this card, draw a card. So you can cycle it for a white and 3 and red and 3. When you cycle Constant Tempest, you may exile it. If you do, put it onto the battlefield. What? If it's a creature card... Put it into the battlefield, otherwise put it into the battlefield tapped. Get out of here. Where's my buzzer? Can't get my buzzer fast enough. This is terrible. All right. Let's see here. How do we rate this? Fair, unplayable, word salad? Word salad. So Nikachu, another Canadian friend of mine, somebody I met at Magic 30, and you probably did too, has been doing very well at MagicCon Minneapolis over the weekend, all right? He's posting up wins, big time wins, all right? Let's do one more AI-generated Magic card, then we're going to head on over to his Twitter page and see. He was holding up booster boxes, and he's been playing Legacy Merfolk as well as Modern Merfolk. Brody has to do... there's a 1K tournament coming up near me at the end of the month. So Brody wants to definitely enter in the 1K. So I'm going to be asking, what the heck is Brody going to build for this modern 1K? Right? Now we're just going to talk. The yuan is the fallen empires of currency. I like it. That's a good way to put it. I like it. Thank you, Benson. You're brightening my morning this morning. I was looking at some doom and gloom in the financial sector, and what does this mean? So we're going to have a good stream here today. It should be a little bit of fun. What else we got? What else have we got for you folks today? It's going to be fun. Going to be a good stream. Hit up those AI generated. One more AI generated Magic cards. Guys been putting up big wins. One more for you. Talks of Valor. How about that one? Put up the Talks of Valor. What is this next one? The Talks of Valor. We've been in talks. Talks of Valor. Green Boy. Gonna get some bigger comments here this morning. Human Soldier. 6 mana for a 4/4. 6 mana 4/4s. This Human Soldier, if Talks of Valor has indestructible, destroy it. What? It can't. I mean, I guess it's a magic card, but if it gets indestructible, we gotta destroy it. That's the one way to get rid of it. Just hit this baby with target creature gains indestructible until end of turn and it's dead. Mind you, does it... How does that... Is that an oxymoron? If Talks Valor has indestructible, destroy it? What happens there? I think we get stuck in an infinite loop. Right? Where's the PT? Where's the power and toughness? It's a 4/4 on this little beauty. Let me bring it up a little bit. Shrink that down just a little bit, make it right. Make the size nice for you here, DJ. 4/4. 4/4. It's a 4/4. Boo. Right? Oh, yeah. I like this. That's a good comparison. Good throwback. The Coronation. Did you... Okay, so... We got some headlines for it. Let's do Talks of Valor. So with this one here, if it gets indestructible, you got to destroy it. But doesn't it not get destroyed because then it has indestructible and then it goes into like an infinite loop of can't destroying itself but trying to? I don't know. We're going to fail it. Let's go call it unplayable. And then this card here, Wastes. Kind of a cool card. Art on it. Looks like somebody hanging out in the wastes here. I like the AI generated lands usually. There's not too much trouble with them. Good morning, folks and fans, friends who love the game as much as I do. Amazing people. The most highest quality fans and discussion lovers of Magic the Gathering here on the show. It's nice to see you here this morning. The Coronation... over the weekend? Was that just the other day? Let's get taking a look here on the conversation. Did you hear somebody shaved a phalanx symbol into the Coronation site? I know that that Brenson was discussing and asking me if they were giving it coverage here in Canada, up in the wild north. So quick jokes on them. I gotta show you this. Your headlines today. So the Coronation was happening just the other day. It appears as though somebody has shaved a giant penis into the shape of the lawn. If you guys were all wondering, yes. Before the Coronation party at a historic landmark. So if you guys didn't hear this, this is already kind of some hilarity. Pranksters. My oh my. But yes, that was news in the weekend. So that did happen. The people were out there mowing their lawns, keeping the grass clipped right short. So that was a little bit of hilarity with that. But have you heard of bricks? All right, we've been discussing the financial markets. We're going to look at the price of Hasbro stock here today. I got the question up for you folks this morning. Have you heard of BRICS? It's something going on in the financial markets and some discussion that I just kind of made its way to me over the weekend. I've been sort of trying to follow it, but it's a conglomeration, and I think Benson put it in the comments together. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're talking about de-dollarization. Right, we're going to so we're going to do the same thing here on the show. Instead of like using dollars, we're just going to pay for everything. Can I pay for that in Magic cards? Right, you go to the store, they're like, yeah, here's your bill. Thanks for dining with us here tonight. It was a good time. Did you enjoy everything? Yeah. And then you're like, you look at the bill, and then you're going to be like, a force of will. That's the bill. And you're like, okay, well, I'll tip them a Swords to Plowshares. So you pay for everything in Magic cards. But what we're talking about with BRICS is the de-dollarization. Some countries are. See, we were also talking about swap lines. Here's a few weeks ago, we were talking about swap lines, and when Silicon Valley Bank folded, and when we had the crisis situation with what's the other bank there that was bailed out? Credit Suisse, just the other day. These are all countries that are swap line friendly, okay? Swap friendly nations. If you remember, if you joined us here on the we want to try and figure out what the heck's going on in the world of finance, right? So we talked about Credit Suisse and swap friendly nations. So nations using swap lines which allow the United States to send money directly to those countries. Those are considered swap positive nations. But I'm guessing that the folks that are into this BRICS and the de-dollarization is in the air. Last month, New Delhi, Alexander Bakabov, the chairman deputy of Russia's State Department in Russia, now spearheading the developments of a new currency. It is used to be a cross-border trade by the BRICS nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Weeks later, in Beijing's Brazil, the president Luiz Inácio Lula Silva chimed in. Every night, he said, he asked himself why all countries have to base their trade on the dollar. These developments complicate the narrative that the dollar reign is stable because it is one-eyed money. It is the one-eyed money and a land of the blind. Individual competitors like the euro, the yen, the yuan, and as economists put it, Europe is a museum, Japan is a nursing home, and China is a jail. He's not wrong, but BRICS issued currency would be different. It'd be like a new union of up-and-coming discontents who, on the scale of GDP, now collectively outweigh not only the reigning hegemon, the United States, but the entire G7 weight class put together. Foreign movements wanting to liberate themselves from reliance on the US dollar and anything new. Murmurs in foreign capitals about to desire to dethrone the dollar have been making headlines since the 60s. But, we heard, there was a time where we heard about the Amero, right? People were talking about the Amero, if you ever heard of that. It's another conspiracy theory, right? I love a good conspiracy theory on a Monday. Why not, right? The Amero, that was another currency that folks were talking about years ago, potentially like a new type of currency. So I think we should come up with the Magic card monetization system. We just pay for everything in Magic cards, and that's kind of the interesting point here as we look at some news headlines. So chime in on that. We got a couple of interesting news articles for you folks today. All right, on the bright side of Monday's only happening once a week, let's take a look at another news article here for you folks. Got some more news to go over. Where are we here? Brody's got his epic pen. Yes. Let's head on over to the stock desk. Take a look at the price of Hasbro stock here this morning. $60.38. Somebody asked me to look at Mattel stock just the other day, and I think that's a fair comparison. A decent one to compare to $60.38, right? And then the Mattel stock was sitting at about 17 the last time we looked at it. Let's look at the Hasbro stock at the max chart. This sucker has been trending down in a bottom trajectory. I saw Solar Gods. I think it was Solar God? Solar Games? Solar Games did a very interesting take on the Hasbro earnings report. Long and the short of it is, it's not looking positive. There's some things that they don't report out in their earnings report, including interest on debt that they have to pay. And if everybody knows how debt is handled, you got to pay heavy interest on it. And if you're in the crunch right now, like a lot of folks out there looking to buy homes, a lot of young people trying to get out on their first home, it's getting harder and harder for folks to do that. So I know some folks that are like, that's it, I'm selling all my Magic cards, I got to come up with a down payment, right? So that's a fact that happens. Let's consider how difficult it is for a young person to get started. Like, my heart goes out to you folks out there. So I want you to kind of keep this in mind. Like, get up every day, no matter your station in life, wherever you folks are stationed, and your current situation is not the whole big picture. Just try and act right. And I was doing some listening over the weekend, rather. About acting right. And no matter what your station is, whether you're digging a ditch, whether you're serving fries, whether you're pumping gas, whether you're hauling ass, whether you're driving truck, and whether you're whatever you're doing out there in the world, your station, okay? People say, my job, I need a better job. I need a better this, I need a better that. Let's try and make the world a brighter place one step at a time. If you're a young person trying to get your way through the door of a new house or a new home, and you're trying to get there, maybe you think, I just need a different job. Whatever station it is in life, whether it's, this job is just a job to the next job, and it'll happen. But do it right, act right, do your best at each one of those tasks. And everybody who is out there, do your best at each thing that you do, and do it meaningfully, do it with precision, do the best job you can, try to do it well. Because I'm telling you, what happens is, if you don't get the concept of acting right and holding your station, no matter what rung of the ladder it is on, whenever you move stations, that's going to come with you. It's going to go with you. So it's a good habit to get into by whatever your station is, acting accordingly and trying to make a difference and do it well. Because later on, as you move through your stations in life, you're going to come into some different positions where maybe they're better money, maybe they're more enjoyable, but that same work habit will follow you through. Whether you get a job at a big corporation like Hasbro, people who remember you will remember you from your earlier stations. So I want to take a look at the Mattel stock. I do. $18.19. Why do I want to talk about Mattel stock? I want to talk about it simply because we've got some interesting products to show you here today. Let's look at this. Got some reveals here, okay? So what do we got? Star Wars uniform. The Star Wars Collector's Uniform 2023. See over 20 Hasbro Star Wars reveals for Star Wars collections. Yes. This is a little bit of an older one, but I still think it's good. For any Star Wars collectible fans out there, there's a lot to look forward to here that is made clear. The Star Wars celebration in Europe has revealed a staggering amount of action figures, role-playing items, and more across its Star Wars lines. The highlights span Star Wars history and were many, including Star Wars The Black Series, Ahsoka's premium electronic clone trooper helmet, based with custom headgear seen in the final season of the Star Wars Clone Wars. Tons of Star Wars Return to the Jedi 40th anniversary releases from Star Wars and vintage collection Moff Jared and 9 Noon of the Black Series 4 Spirit Pack. Of Anakin, Yoda, and Obi-Wan and Jabba the Hutt set Black Series releases of the Bad Batch in their colorful Seasons 2 armor. The Mandalorian-style products, including Black Series Cad Bane and the stunning Vintage Collection N1 Fighter and the adorable Chatterback Chopper animatronic inspired by the upcoming Ahsoka series. Hasbro's also made several pipeline releases coming further down the road. Announcements in Black Series. New holiday-themed action figures, General Grievous, GameStop exclusive, Obi-Wan Kenobi based on the appearance of Obi-Wan at Walmart, and battle-damaged Darth Vader as seen in Trooper. We're bidding... We weren't kidding when we said there's a lot, so make sure there's room in your display shelf and check out all the reveals below. For fans of a certain adventuring archaeologist, swing over to Lucasfilms for Hasbro new Indiana Jones treasures that debuted at that celebration. You know, I'm starting to, this is something that's starting to bug me, okay? And I'm going to vent here for you folks here just a little bit. I got to, because this is something that's starting to bother me just a little bit. Where all this stuff is produced, right? This stuff is all produced. I gotta look at some of the, I mean, as neat as they are, they're nifty little figures. I gotta say, okay, cool little figures. There's some neat stuff there. But let's take a look at some of these. This is the new Monopoly. Anybody want the Monopoly? It looks pretty cool. I mean, it does look like a fun game, but it's like marketing, right? I went to a swap this weekend. I went to a craft market. That's what I went. I went to a craft market. I took a look, and there was a guy there who was making these boards. They're really cool. I should show you folks the board to get a picture of it, because this would be kind of fitting to throw it up there against this. But it was like crib boards. There's any crib players out there? Players who play crib? This guy was making custom crib boards, and he had all these CNC. He had a CNC that cut out the shapes, and then he had all the holes drilled, and then he also made the game. It was called Yahtzee. It's like dice. If you guys play 1000 or Yahtzee, I guess he made these giant oversized dice that are 3 inches by 3 inches cubed. And then it comes with a bucket of dice, a nice big bucket, 6 of them, and then a board about this big with 4 players and all the rules on it and all the pegs for pegging dice, and a really cool game that the guy built. And he was selling it for $60, okay? $60 for okay, he used a CNC and he used a laser engraver, so he's got a little bit of a setup cost there that kind of makes it a little expensive. But this seems gimmicky. Hey, Alan? Yeah, it seems gimmicky. Be prepared. So this is the thing. He was asking... I'm just going to put this up here. Question for you. What should I play in the Modern 1K event that's coming up? And T. Freezy and I are going to head to at the end of the month. So this guy was at the craft market. It was really cool, and I took his card, and he made cutting boards. And the point is, this is all handcrafted stuff that I saw at the market. There's people who are creative out there who spend some time, and he had lots of products. He had Yahtzee, which was cool. So that if you want to roll the dice, you put them in the bucket and you can dump them out, because it's going to be camping season. It'd be a cool game that you can play around the campsite. Interesting game. But this is an example of something somebody handmade themselves for $60, okay? 60 Canadian pesos. Speaking of currency, right? 60 Canadian pesos, so that's 45 USD, right? And he put a lot of work into it. He said the hardest part about building them is getting the wood, because the cost of wood is so expensive. So where is this made? So that's support local. So this is what I say you can do. Whatever your station in life, look for people who are making their way out there, those handmade board games, the handmade Yahtzee game, the handmade crib games, those, because that stuff's not made. It's not made in a plastic mold injected factory. Now, I know we like models and miniatures. This board game is actually pretty cool. But when you go to a site like Star Wars The Gathering that we saw, over on May the 4th, Star Wars The Gathering. That was another interesting site. That's all free, and that's player-based, player-driven, right? So getting into proxy and getting up into game design, Star Wars The Gathering in this game here, yeah, interesting game. Take a look at a couple more shots of these. So we're expecting these plastic toys, though. Interesting. I mean, there's definitely going to be people that want to collect these, no doubt, for sure. But when you look at where the stuff is made, I'd say, oh, Dual Brains in the house. Yo, what's up? What's good? Nice to see you here. Thank you. Burger King Star Wars glasses worth anything? I don't know. These are the barrage of products that you, okay, and if you're not buying these, and I mean, maybe I'm not talking to you folks, but I'm hoping we can reach like a couple more people, right? Like just like one at a time. We're gonna keep like doing the show. We're gonna be talking about this stuff. I want to see these products that are coming down the line. It looks neat, but like there's gonna be a whole barrage of stuff coming at us. Commander Raids is also free, in fact, right? So these closed games, right? Yeah, Commander Raids, also free. Indeed. Indeed, Gamey Bob. So just be aware of it. A lot of this stuff is going to be not manufactured. We lost our manufacturing, okay? Like the stuff isn't printed in, well, that's the thing with Magic. Like where's the, anybody know where's the latest printings happening? Is it happening within the United States? Look at this guy. These are some cool action figures, but I know that the printing presses from early Magic the Gathering used to be in Belgium. That's where the printing presses were, right? There was US printers, and then there was Belgium printers. Let's take a look at like a barrage of products coming at people here. This is the consumer targeting, right? So this is another barrage of products coming out, trying to get into your wallet. Look at this Anakin with the helmet off. What do you make of this guy? So this interesting product line that's coming out, lots of spoilers here. If you haven't seen them already, these are pretty cool. For anybody Star Wars collectible fans, are going to love this. Man, there's some cool ones. I can't wait. I want to get to the ships. Where are the ships? There we go. You got Obi-Wan, Yoda, Master Yoda. Who we got here? I want to say it's Luke Skywalker, but it doesn't look like him. Darth Maul. Some interesting stuff. And the Jabba the Hutt. All right. I thought you said this was a Magic the Gathering show, Brody. What are you doing? All right, let's get back into Magic the Gathering. I want to head over to Nikachu, because like this guy has, what do you think I should, there's a 1K coming up at the end of the month. I'm looking at what's in competitive. Went 3-0 last night in a modern event to win another booster box. Also got much with Merfolk, 6-3 in Legacy. I know we actually won a couple of booster packs, some Legends boosters, and then 11-4 in Modern. Got enough tickets to get a collector booster box. I asked Nikachu if he's got a copy of the deck list. So here's the Merfolk pile that he's running here. Pretty cool deck. Cavern of Souls. We've got the 10 islands. Of course, no Merfolk deck would be complete without 10 lowly islands, right? Brody's epic. Where's Brody's pen? Fine. Stream's not cooperating. It's being Monday-ish. Oh, yes. There we go. Finally. Took long enough. All right. Where's Brody's epic pen? There's the pile. There's the pile Nikachu's running. All right. Winning lots of events. Booster boxes, booster packs. Cavern of Souls ×4. We got the Mutavault. We got the Otawara. Of course. Otawaras. That's a Cycle Land. Channel Land. That bounces. Aether Vial. Like, this is a card that was, like, seriously down in price. Actually becoming quite cheap. I don't know about the invention version of it, but Silvergill Adept. So yeah, Aether Vial, he's just winning a lot of games. Like, screw the metagame. Heck with the metagame. Let's just go back to tribal folk, right? Spreading Seas, of course, that one that turns an island. Apparently this card, Mistcaller, was putting in a lot of work over the weekend. Let's read it. Mistcaller. Here, sacrifice Mistcaller. Until end of turn, if a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it. Apparently this Mistcaller putting in a lot of work over the weekend at MagicCon Minneapolis. Tide Shaper, Silvergill Adept, Vidalian Hexcatcher, Lord of Atlantis, Harbinger of Tides, Subtlety. Here's the Modern Horizons Elemental Incarnation. Khalid Mohammed. Where's Khalid? I gotta say hi to Khalid here this morning. Khalid, how you doing, buddy? Good morning, good morning. Let's, Khalid, you showed up to party here this morning. All right. What else we got here? Silvergill Adept Incarnation. It reminds me of like that Jack Black movie, Incarnation. Ramses. Yes, Ramses at the party. All right, let's give our friend Khalid. Is it Khalid? I think it is. Khalid Mohammed, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining here on the channel. Everybody, let's give a warm welcome to Khalid. Thanks for joining the chat here this morning. It's Monday. It's May the 8th. We're having a little bit of chuckles. We're talking world economics. We're talking a little bit of finance. We're talking magic cards. We're hanging out on the channel. New viewer, new chatter, new... maybe you're new to the channel. I don't know. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, folks, give this man or person, I don't know, a warm welcome here. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for joining in the conversation. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you haven't been here already, maybe this is your first time on the show, I'm asking a few questions, sharing my opinions here on the show. This is my show where I get to share my thoughts and opinions with the world of Magic the Gathering, and you can too. Khalid, all are welcome here. Thank you for joining us here. Let's have a good time. It's Monday. May the sun be on your face and the wind at your back. It's smoky where I am at. There's a lot of fires going on right now. It's kind of scary. That's another subject altogether. But nevertheless, we're doing the morning show. We're getting ready to do some stocks and talks, and I like it when you join us and you hit that button and you chat. So keep it coming. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at this pile. Have a great day, Astrid. Thanks for joining, buddy. Appreciate your support. Nikachu's a great guy. If you have not subbed, please check him out. Yeah, for sure. He's also a Canadian fella. So I like it when these Canadian fellas post up big wins. It gives me hope. It makes me hopeful. It's like, but there's a, I might try and throw this pile of cards together. Like, this is just straight up Merfolk Tribal. He's got a lot of reps in, though. The guy's got thousands and thousands of games in with Merfolk. And like, this is another example. Like, you know, whatever your station is in life, whether it's Merfolk, Silvergill Adept, say it with me. Morningtide Lorwyn. Silvergill Adept, say it with me. Morningtide Lorwyn. Are we gonna have to look at the Silvergill Adept? All right, Merfolk. I'm gonna have to ask him for the legacy list. Okay, here's the legacy list. Merfolk, and I'm probably gonna see True Name Nemesis in here. We got the Cavern of Souls, the 10 Islands, Otawara, Wasteland because you can run it. The Aether Vial, Blue Elemental Blast, Hydroblast because there's never enough 2 and 2. In case they name a card. Merfolk Trickster in the side, Silvergill Adept. Say it with me, folks. Larwyn and Morningtide. We got Tide Shaper. Where is the true name? Yes, true name Nemesis. And Null Rod. Force of Will. And then we get the... What do we got for Lords? Vidalian Hexcatcher. We got a playset of Force of Will. A playset of true name Nemesis. Merfolk Trickster. Master of the Pearl Trident. And Lord of Atlantis. Because that's just straight up one of the original lords of Magic the Gathering here. El Lordo of Atlantis. Very cool card. The original Merfolk Lord. So shout out to that fella. He's putting in reps and putting in wins over there in MagicCon Mini. I guess it's over. But he'd probably be on stream today. So make sure you say hi. Tell him Brody sent you. Say, hey, Brody says, yo, what's up? Good job on Legacy and Modern. Racking up wins. I wish I could win like that. But there is a 1K coming up at the end of the month. T Freezy and I are going to have to put some decks together and jam some reps and see what goes on in the world. Try and get some wins, some W's, get some of that cash money, whatever type of currency that they're going to be giving out. Maybe get $1,000 in trade. We'll see. All right. Maybe you get $1,000 in store credit. Maybe that's what you get. You know what that sound is? You know the sound, folks. It is time for your movers and the shakers. All the amazing 311 subscribers who tune in each and every day. Do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Do you think there's enough information out there to make an opinion? Or maybe there's just too much information. Let me do it for you. I'm doing it each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, here on the morning show. It's the bro, it's the D, at his station this morning, bringing you folks some movers and the shakers here this morning, some Magic the Gathering news, some articles, a little bit of fun, and a couple of jokes. Thanks for joining me here, folks. Let's get into your movers and the shakers. It's Modern Monday. Have you brought a friend to Are you going to Modern? I'm gonna have to get my butt to a Modern event somewhere along the line because I got this Modern 1K coming up with T Freezy. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of practicing and get my guts together. What am I gonna run? I tried putting that in the polls, but what should Brody... MTG is a card game. Tarot is a fortune telling. Are these cards the same as Tarot? No, they're not. No, this is a strategy game. If you're new to Magic the Gathering, sit down, buckle up. We are gonna go on. We're gonna take a look here. All right. I like it. Khalid Muhammad. Are these the same as Tarot? Holy smokes. No way. No. Some people might say this is Tarot is like a fortune telling game, but this is a collectible card game, the first one of its kind. If you haven't heard of it already, it's called Magic the Gathering, and there's many ways to play it. You can play it online, you can play it with paper cards. There is an online version that just about anybody can download a client called Arena. You can play it there. But what we're looking at here, what we've got this morning, dust your eyes off, Brody. We have got some Pepes. No, we've got some Pepes. Robert O'Brien here. These are your movers and the shakers here this morning, Brian. Modern Monday. These are the paper versions of cards, the most movingest and shakingest cards. The cards changing price. They change like the wind. So first on the list, Gemstone Caverns. Let's look at this card. It's up 13%. Gemstone Cavern. Correction, nobody plays Arena. The Arena Shuffler plays you. I know, right? How can you spend so much time deck building and then it just never win games? The Arena plays you. Yes, it's trying to just learn your play patterns so that they can send the user and player information back to the headquarters. It's an AI is what it is. It's learning human algorithms, and then it's helping them get backdoor data on everybody so they can tell what MF Doom. Yo, what's up, MF Doom? MF Doom? Oh yeah. It's you. Thank you. It's me. Let's take a look at this card, Gemstone Caverns. If it's in your opening hand and you're not playing first, you may begin the card with it. You may begin the game with this on the battlefield with a luck counter on it. If you do, exile a card from your hand. I like this because this card it allows you to say, I have pregame effects. Like when I go to play Magic, I'm not so competitive-y. I like winning games of Magic just like anybody else, but I am not super competitive-y. I've been to plenty of events where people like get their hair on the back of their neck, and then they start like I've been in situations where like I'm gonna win the game. Like I had a really good hand, everything's going well. I've got my cards working online, and like the guy's staring down the barrel of like a bunch of goblins or something, and then the person gets so mad because they're like losing to goblins. And I'm just like, dude, it's just a game, right? Whatever your station is in life, you got to learn how to take your lumps as well as victory. If you can't lose at a card game with a little bit of like class, or maybe like learn to lose humbly, and you'll do better in the winner circle, I'm sure. Nobody likes the guy who celebrates in the end zone, right? So I guess it's the difference between, let me ask you, Michael Jordan or LeBron James, huh? Who's the GOAT? Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Is it Michael Jordan because he never said he was the greatest player and everybody said he was? Or is it LeBron James because he told you he was, right? All right, well, here's one of the greatest lands to ever be included in the game. This one, taps for a colorless, or if it has a luck counter, it adds 1 mana of any color. You get to play, so this is a card that like I put in my decks to have fun. I don't know how competitive it is. I think there's a lot of people, this is expensive. Look at the chart on this sucker. Wow. Let's get Brody's pen out here. Cups and handles, stock term of the day. All right, let's trace this out. We got a lineup here. What do we got going on here? This sucker, going back to 2015. A $10 card, and then in and around Kaladesh going up to 20 and start a Dominaria. Then 40. War of the Spark comes and hits $50. Then Throne of Eldraine and Ikoria, it goes in the bed. it wets itself. Then it's back down. Then Double Masters and Zendikar back up to the $50-$60 mark. Then Kaldheim, and now like this is when we start getting away from like this choppy ziggy-zaggy pattern. Yeah, that's the technical stock term of the day by Brody, right? The ziggy-zaggy pattern. But look at how sharp and pointed these are, right? It's sort of like up and over, up and over, up and over. That's like 3 flags, right? 1, 2, 3. And now we're starting to get into like some curved patterns, especially here. More of a cup and handle and like a saggy low bottom like this. Here's the cup. Here's the handle. I think we might have looked at this. This is definitely a bullish pattern right here. For sure, 100%. Let's look at the cup and handle pattern. The cup and the handle. Hey, let's find it. We were looking at this the other day, the cup and handle pattern and how to trade it, right? It's no different than stocks. And what all I want to do for you folks here today is like, I look at these charts every single day. Here's a cup and handle pattern. Okay. It's how to trade it. There's several ways to approach it, but the most basic is look for an entering long position. The image below depicts a classic cup and handle formation. Place a stop buy order slightly above the upper trend line of the handle. Order execution only occur if the price breaks below the pattern's resistance. Traders may experience excessive slippage and enter a false breakout using an aggressive entry. So, do you see it? I kind of see a cup and handle here. See a cup, see a handle. Right here, this U-shaped pattern. Oop, too thick a pencil. Brody, grab your small pencil. This looks like a bit of a cup and handle pattern right here, and then here's the U shape. It's doing what it should do in a pattern such as this, but just keep in mind, like, this is all tied to the whims of a company called Hasbro. Golf club. If you can pull it off, I applaud you for making it work. Cavern reprint, right? Mr. DJ Longhair says, I win by pulling off some jank successfully, not in the actual win. Right? Jordan by far. Thank you. Thank you, MF Doom. Thank you. Held that card for a little bit, but ending up selling it. Cavern of Souls. Gemstone Caverns. Which caverns are you? So there's Cavern of Souls, and then there's Gemstone Cavern. These are almost Cavern of Souls. Also another magic card. Well, that one that Nikachu was playing, right? Cavern of Souls. This is what's in the Merfolk deck. About the same bucks. Roughly the same price. I'm sure there's a more expensive one, but around $60 we can get ourselves a Cavern. Original one from Avison. $60. Okay, so if you wanted to have a Cavern, which one would you do? Which Cavern do you like? Which Cavern do you like better? Which Cavern do you like for $60 for 320s? You want the Cavern of Souls or the Gemstone Cavern? Which one is more bullish? Let's look at the chart on the Cavern of Souls. Cavern of Souls, definitely a little bit less of a roller coaster ride. In fact, Cavern of Souls is down right now from Avison. It was as high as 89 bucks, and it's sort of trending down, and has been for just a little. Has been, has bro, has will, has let's go. This one here definitely be trending down. Let's look at the Cavern here. Which Cavern do you folks like? I like the Gemstone Cavern, but I can't, like, for fun value, I think if you want the fun, I think that's got to go to the Gemstone Cavern. Is such a long shot, right? It's got to be in your opening hand. If you're going to use it, you got an exile one. They work better in 2s and 3s. I don't know how many decks. See here, this sucker is just kind of, it's just kind of not very, it's a sluggish chart on the Gemstone Caverns. So let's see here. This one here, on the other hand, the Cavern of Souls, as it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type, and then you can add a mana of any color that could cast a creature of the chosen type. That spell can't be countered. So that's what makes, like, it makes it really good and super playable, especially in tribal decks. Even in this is why it's played in the Merfolk deck. Gemstone Caverns, it's more situational. I don't know what is it going to take to break this card to make it, like, really good. Hard to say. If there's something else, well, I'll tell you what will make this card exceptionally good. If there's ever, and it's going to be the Magosi effect all over. What could make this card go to $100 or more is if there was another card printed in the subsequent set that gets a luck counter. Okay, that's what would make this card really good. So, because this is a card that I spec'd on Magosi of the Watervale. Magosi the Watervale. See, I spec'd on this card a few years ago, and it's actually gone down in price quite a bit. What was it up to? Yeah, it took a spike. Should have sold it. Went to $6. What's the foil version? Foil version's 11, and it was as high as 50. But now this might be another time to pick up this card here. Yeah, the Magosi card. Look at this. Speaking of lands that put counters on things, right? Here's another spec of Brody's favorite. But this one takes extra turns. So if you know Brody likes taking some extra turns. Let's check this out. Here, Magosi of the Watervale. This one ticked up to about 50, 60 bucks in foil for a hot minute. It's heading down. Here's a pickup for you folks. Here's a good pickup. Why do I like all this coming from looking at the Gemstone Caverns? Let's see what they got at the vendor shop. $14 for a near mint foil and $7 or $12 for a mint an excellent condition foil. The reason I like this card is, let's look at it. This one says enters the battlefield tapped. It taps for a blue. It's a land. It's not legendary, so you can have as many of them as you want. You could pay a blue and tap it, put an Aeon counter on it, and skip your next turn. And then you tap it and remove an Aeon counter from it, and you get to take an extra turn after this one. So with the Warhammer 40k set that came out with the Nesting Grounds, and there was another card that put Aeon counters on things. This card took a pump up in price because it became evident that there was ways to make another. There was another card out there that was able to make an Aeon counter, and then all of a sudden, that Aeon counter, the one card in the game that was able to use the Aeon counter, became like people started scratching their head and say, "Hey, now there's a new way to make an Aeon counter that doesn't cost me skipping my turn." So Nesting Grounds, another land, right? This one says it taps for a colorless, it enters the battlefield, it taps for mana, and one and tap it, move a counter from target permanent you control to another target permanent, activate as a sorcery. So when people saw the Warhammer K set with another card that made, I can't remember the card name, that made Aeon counters, that made that card particularly good. Same could be true. It's possible with are we gonna it's possible that might need to ban somebody. It's possible that there might be a card printed down the road that that makes a luck counter. All right, so the luck counter, interesting. All right, well, let's have a look here. We'll talk about this. What makes a luck counter? The gemstone. I don't think anything else makes a luck counter, DJ. I think currently this is the only card that makes a luck counter. Is there anything else that makes luck counter? Highlight that. Message deleted. Thanks, Prime. Prime, don't mess with Prime. He'll shoot you. I was looking at that and I'm like, hey, this is the first time this has happened. So like, I'm getting shilled by DJ in all platforms. Thank you, Prime. Message deleted. All right. We might have a bot. I don't know. Okay, we'll get those. If we start getting bots in the stream, I guess that's, the way it goes, right? Just kill them dead there. Kill the bots. That's all I can say. Get the Prime 406 in there. Not about to have that. Thank you. All right, I think this is the only card that makes luck counters. All right. We haven't even gotten past our first mover, the shaker. Let's go on to something else. I've been sitting here procrastinating about gemstone caverns, luck counters, and everything else. Bleep bloop, right? Boom. Let's go. Modern Horizons 2, $39.08. Double strike. This is these elementals. Like hey, how you doing? How you doing, DJ? This is a card that is one of those Modern Horizons 2 cards that jumped the shark, like really made it, what is it called? It's Out of the Tombs. Thank you, Alan. That's what it is. Out of the Tombs, Nesting Ground. Get rid of the highlighted comment. Let's see here. How do I do it? Brody's such a noob, right? Did I get it? There you go. You're good now? All right. Yeah. Thanks, boys. Boys. You got my back here this morning. Okay, so this is one of the elementals that help Modern Horizons 2 jump the shark. It's there's this one, the Subtlety. That's the one Nikachu was playing. Let's take a look at Nikachu's deck list here. Subtlety in both lists. No, Subtlety is in the Modern list. Okay, so he's running Subtlety. This is another this is the other Incarnation. Subtlety, Elemental Incarnation. This one's also got Flash. It's also got Power Touches 3/3. It's 2 blue and 2. Fury is like the 3/3 double striker. It doesn't have Flash. Interesting. It would have been nice if it had Flash. Can you? Yeah, I think you got to evoke it. You can't evoke it at instant speed. Like Subtlety has Flash, so you can Subtlety at instant speed. You can flash this in when it enters the battlefield. Choose up to one target creature spell or planeswalker spell. Its owner puts it on the bottom of the library. Exile a blue card from your hand. All right, and then this one here, Fury, the double striking 3/3. When it enters the see, it does 4. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. I fought to no comment, Juice. Woo woo. The juice is in the house, and the house is in the juice. Thank you. So what decks are using this? This one here, I think originally was intended to have Flash on it, but they took it off because it was just too good. Mythic. What's running it? Modern. All kinds of lists. All right, let's have a look here. Mono Red Prison and Painter Servant in Legacy. There's a Rakdos Painter Servant deck with Goblin Welder, Chaos Defiler. From Warhammer, Demon Construct. Whenever Chaos Defiler enters the battlefield or dies, for each opponent, choose a non-land permanent that player controls. Destroy one of them at random. Whenever Defiler enters the battlefield or dies. For each opponent, choose a non-land permanent that player controls. Destroy one of those at random. One Chaos Defiler. Isn't it an artifact? Yes. So it's just recurring this. All right, in the Legacy deck. What? Goblin Welder, Goblin Engineer, Painter Servant, Brea's Apprentice. That's a good card. Dragon Engine and Fury Incarnation. Okay, so the Fury card is definitely in Legacy. What about the price on it? Let's have a look at the price. Let's look at the chart on Fury. This is a Fury of a chart. Comes back steady as she goes. This is a good chart. Let's see here. So this is a very subtle chart. This card's only what, a year and a half old? July 21, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, a year and 9-10 months. Very slow to uptick. I think how many printings of this sucker do we have? We have just the Modern Horizons printing. This thing's gonna keep going. This thing's definitely gonna keep going until we see a reprint. That's my prediction. This sucker, until it gets a reprint, it's gonna keep going. All these elementals and the Archons from Modern Horizons era, these are just so powerful cards that unless you're getting them, you're going to be falling behind. Where else? Murktide Regent of Kroros, Crashing Footfalls, the Rakdos mid-range in Modern, 5-color Omnath is all using. How many are we running in the Rakdos mid-range deck? Fury. This is expensive to play Modern. Modern is expensive. This is the new age here. Fury, yeah, a playset of Furies, a playset of Griefs. Here's the other one. Here's the black one, the Grief Incarnation. All these elementals were good. And like the thing is, they proc with Omnath and where's the elemental? The Risen Reef. They proc to Risen Reef, actually. Seats, where are you guys heading? You guys going to a concert? What's going on? Which Cavern of Souls would you buy it? Which Cavern of Souls would you folks buy? I want to see. Most of you folks are buying the Cavern of Souls, not the Gemstone Caverns. All right, 80%. See, this is where I get screwed up because I'm always taking like this long position. I always take the position where I'm like, yeah, but one day, Brody, this Gemstone Mines is going to be good because of the luck counter on it. Wink, wink. But meanwhile, you could be playing Cavern of Soul or Gemstone Cavern of Souls regularly every weekend in Modern and just getting lots of value out of it. So, like, I think for fun, for playability, you're farther off ahead getting the Cavern of Souls, something that you're not going to play very much. Unless there's a fringe deck out there that incorporates the Gemstone Caverns. Fury, sold out in all the stores. Hooray. Unless you go over to Anger Collection's place. Anger, have you got this in your shop on TCG Players? If not, you got to go over to Ravenforge Games, Gamers Portal, or Wanderers Hall, and then pick up a copy of Ye Old Fury. Cavern goes good in any tribal deck, right? Yeah, it's really good. It's an auto include, right? So I think you're far better. You're far better to pick up the Cavern of Souls rather than the Gemstone Cavern. The Gemstone Cavern's a long shot. But that's the thing, like, I'm such a contrarian. I know this is like, even people comment in some of the videos they make, they're like, you're a contrarian. You just go against what everybody else is saying just to get popular. And I'm like, or just to gain favor. And I'm like, not I can see that, but I like the Gemstone Caverns. I have a playset of this card and I only have like one or two Cavern of Souls. I like it. I mean, but that's sort of like my own sort of defeatist type of prerogative is like, I do like the long shot cards. I always bet on the underdog. I love cards that don't see a lot of mainstream action, that are kind of niche and jank. And I do like seeing opponent like especially in sports or in hero lore. Like, I love it when the underdog like comes from behind and kicks some ass, right? I love it. I love like Rocky movies are good, but you know it's like Rocky. He's gonna be the hero at the end of the day. Saw the new Guardians over the weekend. Did anybody check it out? Saw it with T Freezy. We went on a double date. On Friday, went and checked out the new Guardians movie. Won't give you any spoilers, but I will say this. I've seen a lot of movies in the past that I was not impressed with spending the price of admission. That one was worth seeing. That one was worth spending the money. I didn't come out of there feeling like I got ripped off. So the new Guardians movie was good. The elemental land gaining value from Lorwyn. Which one is that? Who are we talking about? Which land? Which sumo version of Rocky on Netflix called Sanctuary? Sounds good. Gemstone, not so much. Yeah, the Cavern of Souls. Seats or deets. Text me for deets. At least he wasn't talking about beating his wife. What happened here? Dude, that deck is gross. Oh my god. I fought to no comment. Oh. Yeah, I think we good. Everyone's good. I think we're good. Sumo version of Rockin', I would watch that. Let's check out this other card. This is a legendary land. So you got, this card's really good. Obero, Palace in the Clouds. Let's look here at the other Palace in the Clouds. So in Nikachu's deck, Otawara the Soaring City, right? So there's a couple of legendary palaces in the clouds. The Otawara is the channel land, right? Discard out of Water Soaring City. Return target artifact, creature, or enchantment, planeswalker to owner's hand. This ability costs 1 less to act for each legendary creature you control. So the Soaring City is like bounce removal. That's really hard to interact with because you can channel it and it's impossible to interact with that. It's like cycling. You can't counter a channel. I mean, I guess you could counter like an activated ability. I gotta watch me some sumo. I know nothing about it except that I'm a huge wrestling fan. If you folks haven't already, I got my tickets to Grand Con. So I'm gonna be going there. Bret Hart's making an appearance. I get some autographs. Big wrestling fan. There's a few pro wrestlers who actually did sumo, like the Earthquake guy. If you guys remember the natural disasters, anybody? The tugboat, Earthquake and Typhoon. I think Earthquake, he was actually a sumo wrestler. Makes me want to be a sumo wrestler. You're built like a yard rake. Let's take a look at this Palace in the Clouds. Let's head to the Palace. Legendary land, taps for a blue. It doesn't enter tap, so it's pretty good like that. It says 1, return Obero Palace of the Clouds to owner's hand. So it's color fixing, right? So if you got like your Mutavault, this is a card that used to get played in Merfolk. Okay, it would get played as a one of in Merfolk somewhere along the line. It's now fallen out of favor for the other Soaring City, the one other Palace in the Clouds, because the Mutavaults don't make colored mana. So if you really need blue mana, you can use the Mutavault to bounce the Obero, and if you haven't played a land, you can play it again and then tap it for a blue. It's rare. It's from Kamigawa Saviors. It's $61.50. How much is the foil? $300. Brody, like this is like me looking. I missed the boat on this one. $300 for the Saviors of Kamigawa, and like that might even be a decent price. Maybe, maybe not. Why is it showing here on this chart? It's showing here on this chart at... That can't be right. It says $9,000 or $3,000. There's got to be some price manipulation. What's going on here? $300 is more likely the price. You can get it for $50 right now on TCG Player. There's definitely some uses for it. See, Merfolk's running it. Mono blue Merfolk. Here we go. Rashad Doghand, Tide Shaper, Harbinger of Tides, Lord of Atlantis, Master of the Pearl Tyrant, Merfolk Trickster, Vodalian Hexcatcher, Sveilun of the Sea and Sky and Subtlety. So just another build. This one's running... Are we running it in the side? I don't even see it here. But it's a possible include. Possible include in the Merfolk deck. Mill is also running it. Modern Mill is really strong right now. The Ruinous Crab, the Hedron Crab, and this Jace, the Perfected Mind. This sucker. Ugh. Tell your ex, this guy. Is -2, target player mills 3 cards. Then if a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, you draw 3. Otherwise, you draw a card. This -2 on Jace is really good. Because with the Hedron Crab and in the Ruinous Crab in mill, really decent. Morning, hey, the Fish Games is here. Thanks, buddy, for showing some love to the channel. Folks, give a warm welcome to the Fish. The Fish swims here on the Brody Show. Indeed. Good morning, Magic people. Good morning, Fish Games. Thanks for joining us here on the channel. This show is for you. We're doing the Modern Monday Movers and the Shakers here this morning. It's going to be a little bit of fun. We're discussing some expensive modern cards here this morning. Thank you for joining. Big warm welcome to the Fish Games. Thanks for tuning in here this morning on the Stock Show. Here's a card, Gandalf the Grey. This is right in Modern. Is it in Modern? It appears like it's in Modern. It's $10 and it's taken up a tick up in price. Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle Earth. Change the version here. Any other versions? There can't be. It's the first one. The showcase is going to be worth $19. This legendary avatar wizard for 5 mana. Say this is like Ral Izzet mana, right? So when I look at this card, I got to be like, is it better than Ral Izzet for 5 mana, right? Is it as good as Ral? Gandalf and Ral together again. Well, he's a 3/4, and he says an avatar wizard. Okay, so tribal wizard tribal is online. It also says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, choose one that hasn't been chosen. You may tap or untap target permanent. Is this going to be an include in Lotus Field? I don't know. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy and put Gandalf on top of his owner's library. So you can just like bolt something and get rid of him. He blinks himself. Pretty decent card. Any builds using it? Oh, I've got a really good news article to bring to you folks as soon as we're done our movers and the shakers here. No decks found. How good is this going to be? It could be very good. Let's see if people break the Gandalf the Wizard, and it's already showing up on the movers and the shakers list in Modern. Watery Grave, the Shockland that cost you 2 life, the first Sliver, 5 mana commander. I guess this is from Cowboy to Stockboy. All right. The first Sliver. This thing's 5 mana. This was like a cheaper version if you wanted to play slivers. Cheaper commander. This is like a cheaper commander because you got the Sliver Overlord, you got the Sliver Queen, and then the first Sliver is all the Sliver colors. So if you're just getting into slivers, maybe this is your first commander. It's $26. What's Sliver Queen at? Let's take a little look. If we're going to look at slivers, the first slivers actually come down quite a bit. It was $45 around Strixhaven. Holy moly. $45 around Strixhaven, and then like that. Check it out. All right, let's take a look at decks using it. Of course, slivers. Anything else using it? Maybe Morophon the Boundless. Yeah, Morophon the Boundless, Historic Brawl, all commander decks, including Progenitus, Sliver Queen. Oh, there's the Sliver Queen right there, and then the Sliver Hive Lord. $350. This is a card that's eluded me for a long time, and it's like I had a chance to buy it many moons ago. I think I picked up Mox Diamond instead, and I don't regret buying the Mox Diamond, but it's like I only need 1 Sliver Queen. Look at the chart on this one here. A little tick up in price, a little bump up. Strixhaven, the Sliver Queen kind of hit an all-time high, and now it's back again. This card will always see equity, and it's on the reserve list. It's not Modern though, so we can't talk too much about it. It's not Monday. Sliver Queen, Sliver Hive Lord, this first Sliver, all the slivers. Engineered Explosive, sideboard tech. Here's a good card. This one is got the Starburst mechanic. Okay, so this one costs X. It's $15 to buy it. It costs X to play it. Sunburst means that it enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it for each colored mana that you spend to cast it. So you got to be playing at least a couple of different colors. And if you're playing a deck that has Manamorphose in it, like something that plays mana, the Extendo. Also, water is wet, sky is blue, heat is hot. Buy all the Gemhide slivers. The Gemhide slivers? Slivers are going to go up with the new Commander Sliver deck coming in Commander Masters. Thanks, people, for the warm welcome. Hope you, yeah, of course, Fish Games. Thanks for joining us here. One big happy family. Except Khalid, he keeps poking fun at people, so you know, I don't know what his problem. Maybe he just does like Khalid, like you don't here, like Khalid, like it's like I don't know what side of the bed you woke up on, but like maybe go back to bed and get a few more hours of sleep. Like I don't know, man. How many consultants do you need to change a light bulb? You'll get an estimate in a week from Monday. Right? Here's a fact. After Monday and Tuesday, even the calendar says WTF. And Monday is an awful way to spend 1/7 of your life. I know it's Monday, Khalid, but you know what? Like, go make a smoothie, right? It's don't be grumpy. There's a lot of good things to look. There's a lot of good things out there if you look for them. Okay, let's check this out. Sunburst. So if you're playing a deck that has Manamorphose that makes those odd colored manas, you can use this one. Yeah, Tommy Siddons, welcome to the show. Love to have you here. You can pay 2 and sacrifice engineer explosives and destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on it. So you can cast this for 0. This is a good thing about this. And in an artifact deck like an artifact matters deck, this seems pretty fine. How's my audio this morning? Is it too tinny? Sometimes it gets too tinny. I'm gonna have to watch the replay and just tweak it a little bit. So Engineer's Explosives is good. You can play it with a 0 mana. It's better than Stonecoil Serpent in the fact that like you can play it for 0 and destroy all 0 drops, and it sticks around and gives you an affinity if it's an affinity for artifacts. It also taps for a blue if you've got Urza Lord high. Let's see some decks using it and look at the chart on it. Engineer's Explosives, it's definitely a sideboard card. I don't know if it's main deck. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this thing was expensive around Ravnica. Talk about a dog. Hey, look at this thing. Coming up, clear. All right. Let's go. Take a tick up in price. Up here. No, I'm glad you can let's go here. Big top hat here. $100 price tag on this, and then just like trending down in price. This thing has been a sucker for a long time. It's obviously just since 2019, right? We're right in the fall from grace, right in this period. We must have had some much better sideboard tech come along since then and warp the spark. And like this is one of those, we talked about modern times and cards that were moving out and falling out of favor. This is one of the cards along with Aether Vial. When it's good in modern, it's good. You're feeding the troll, Brody. Khalid's not worth wasting any attention on. He's clearly just desperately seeking. We should ban him? You got a wrench. You can ban him. Go ahead. You want me to ban Khalid? Okay, let's ban Khalid. Khalid, you're out of here. This is my first banning, okay? I'm going to do it in front of everybody. What? I have bought. How do we ban this person? Let's ban somebody. Yay. Let's break some ground here. This is going to be a first on the show. Let's ban somebody. Goodbye. Never had to ban anybody before. It's going to be exciting. Let's make it fun. All right. 1, 2, 3. How do we remove this guy? Remove. Can't the moderators ban folks as well? Yay, congrats. Where's the I actually don't know how to ban somebody. How do I do it? Let's do it. I've tried the 3 dots next to their name, but I've never actually banned anybody. I got remove, put user in timeout. Oh, it should be down there. Let's get the I gotta all right here. All right, you folks on the bro show, I'm gonna get this I'm gonna shine this banning hammer up real nice, and I'm gonna bring it down. You might have to in YouTube. Wait, being a troll can get you banned? I may be in trouble. No, there was already some slurs used this morning, like a couple of slurs, and it's like What did I miss? I had to do some work. No, Prime 406 already had to delete some of the comments just because, like, the racial name calling and stuff like that. It's kind of a we'll give him a timeout. Get the ban hammer out. Might have to do it right in YouTube. Right? Okay, so Murktide, what are we looking? Engineered explosive. I got another article I really want to get to here for you folks. So Seasoned Pyromancer. Let's look at this one's up 5%, 21 bucks. This is like the good Pyromancer. I like the young Pyromancer, and like I've kind of wanted more out of the Seasoned Pyromancer. I was like, I'll just run the one, like it's double red, right? So this card's apparently it's really good. Tommy, you're good, buddy. Oh, that's funny. This one, it says red, and 1 for a 2/2 human shaman. When it enters the battlefield, discard 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. For each non-land card discarded this way, create a 1/1 elemental creature token. So you get to pitch 2 and draw 2. All right. And then for 2 red and 3, you exile it from your graveyard and you create 2 more elemental creature tokens. So it's like got the Lingering Souls kind of a flashback ability on it. Maybe this is good in stacks, right? With Lingering Souls and a bunch of creature stuff. So this could be just fine. But let's take a look here. It's 15 bucks. Another Modern Horizons card. When it any other versions of it here? Yeah, Double Masters. It's a $20 bill. I was hoping to see Jair Ballard on this card actually. But nevertheless, Mythic card, is it seeing it's a human shaman? Is it seeing some price? It was a lot more popular than it is now. Let's take a look at the chart here on the seasoned one. The Seasoned Pyromancer. Did you guys like wrestling? I used to love wrestling. Like, I still love it, but like, some of the stuff I can't watch because it's like, I follow it and on Twitter, but I like the old school wrestling. Like Sergeant Slaughter is out there again, touring and hanging out with bros, and like the old Rock and Steve Austin. I love the promos when he's like, why don't you take this band hammer and shine it up real nice and turn it sideways and then bam, bam. I did until they changed the name to WWE, right? Mankind, right? Mick Foley, yes. And some of those folks are getting older, right? Like you gotta, like even Randy Savage is gone. You know, there's a bunch of other folks that, you know, it was a tough life. And I see like a lot of performance enhancements. And it's funny because at the time, like that's another thing about science is like at the time, like use of performance enhancements was super common, right? And it may very well be as common, just not as spoken about. But like you look at some of the folks like Lex Luger and some of the old school wrestlers, like you look at them now and you're like, man, like, did they know that stuff was going to be so hard on their body when they were taking it? Because it's like really hard on the body to get huge like that. Seasoned Pyromancers played in Murktide Regent, Mono Red mid-range, Crashing Footfalls, Boros mid-range. It's kind of a stacks card, right? It gives you 2 bodies and then 2 possibly more. So it gives you, it can make chump blockers for you. It's played in a bunch of decks. Rakdos mid-range, Murktide Regent, Mono Red mid-range. I could see this being played in Rag. It kill, like the little tokens block Ragavan and kill it. So it's a decent card that way. I could see it even being side tech against Ragavan. Good card. Crucible of Worlds, the one that lets you play lands from your graveyard. Unfortunately, this one's down to 27 bucks. It's had more reprintings than Whales Seen Water. It's definitely 5th Dawn version. The Kaladesh Invention being the most expensive. The 5th Dawn version in foil being right up there at 65 bucks. The Judge foil, 85 for the Fentalio. Where's Fentalio this morning? Fentalio, tell me something. Okay, I got one more. These are your movers and the shakers here this morning. I got one more mover and shaker to go over with you folks here before I get to this article. Thoughtseize from This is from Lorwyn, isn't it? Original Lorwyn foils. Get them while they're hot. We like them. Thoughtseize, this one's a couple of bucks. I like WrestleMania 2064 games. I played all the games. I did. We try and I love the games. I always expected more out of them, like the finishing moves and stuff like that. I did like the arcade game. They could have kept making. They could have made more wrestling video games than they made. Maybe they weren't that exciting. Maybe they weren't that decent. Maybe they didn't sell that well. I made a custom wrestler, Bob Barker from The Price is Right. The price is wrong, Bob. All right, Lorwyn foil. All right, it's Monday. Anybody got a case of the Mondays here this morning? I know I do. So does Muhammad Khalid and all you other folks joining in on the morning show here. They say every day is a gift, but I don't think they included Mondays on that list. I've got an interesting article for you folks today. I want to look at this one. Ooh, precious. This article is precious. If you ask me, the MTG Lord of the Rings core cryptic mechanic has finally been revealed. If you haven't seen it yet, we're going to cover it here first. I hate mornings and Mondays mornings most of all. What if Mondays were created to punish us for things that we did over the weekend? What's the worst Monday someone can have? The next one. Here we go. MTG Lord of the Rings ring core cryptic mechanic is finally revealed. When I saw this article, I kind of thought it funny. I was like, well, we already got the ring tempts you, right? But I guess when we looked at this, did you meet Sako? No, I didn't meet Sako. When we look at the One Ring, like, that's obviously the ring. We got some spoilers from the Lord of the Rings, and I think anybody with kind of, I don't know what we were missing. What were we missing from the Lord of the Rings, like, to put together the whole ring tempts you mechanic? Because we already saw Frodo, we saw Samwise, we saw a bunch of the other spoilers, including the One Ring itself, and now it says that the Lord of the Rings core cryptic mechanic is finally revealed. So let's have a look at this article, because the Magic the Gathering Lord of the Ring Tales of Middle-earth crossover is arguably one of the most ambitious projects the trading card game has ever embarked on, offering a new look at Tolkien's beloved series. Many players and multiple players in Magic the Gathering are incredibly excited about this straight-to-modern product. There are already a series of game-changing things being introduced here in this set, like a true one-of-the-kind One Ring serialized cards, one of one, that will have many players guessing on the amount of zeros that will be in its price and its asking cost. The biggest question is, however, what happens when the ring tempts you? All right, are you tempted to watch the stream here? Are you tempted to tune in? Take a look at the picture of the Temptation emblem. We're going to get to it. It's right here. We've already seen some of our favorite characters like Frodo, Gandalf, and MTG formats. That said, we're here and we're going to be able to totally understand what some of these cards are going to do. And until now, a lot of Magic players have been wondering what the heck is going on with this tempting ring, meaning that early spoilers from the mechanic has finally been unveiled in Magic Con Minneapolis. Here is what is going to happen when the ring tempts you. So there's there's also another couple of cards that were spoiled at Magic Con. One is a green mana dork that makes legendary mana to cast legendary creatures, rather. Let's check this out. Here's the card. Gaming Bob, take a picture at the emblem of Temptation. Yes, thank you, Gaming Bob. Let's put that up right now at the Temptation emblem. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Gaming Bob. Try and make it stick. All right, the ring. Here's the card. The ring. Your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Whenever your ring bearer attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices at the end of combat. And whenever your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. Then on the other side, the ring tempts you. As the ring tempts you, you get an emblem named the ring if you don't already have one. Then your emblem gains its next ability, and you choose a creature you control to become or remain your ring bearer. So once the ring tempts you, you get an emblem named the ring. If you don't have one already, then your emblem gains its next ability, and you choose a creature you control to become your ring bearer. So it's like the ring bearer is like that creature becomes the monarch, I guess. I think Bob says, I think it's pretty strong, makes death touch blockers better. Yeah. I personally am not a fan of outside mechanics, and Tommy Siddon says just to give you card advantage for no input. Okay, so the ring tempts you, so then you get this emblem, and then like somebody on your team becomes the ring bearer, a creature if you have one, or remains the ring bearer. Okay, and then like it's sort of like goes up from here. It goes up from here. It starts at the first one. Your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So it turns something into a legendary creature if it's not already, and then it has to be can't be blocked with creatures by greater power. Wow. Okay, and then the ring can tempt you even if you don't control a creature. The ring gains its abilities in order from top to bottom. Once it gains an ability, it has that ability for the rest of the game. Each time the ring tempts you, you must choose a creature if you control one, and each player can have only one emblem named the ring and only one ring bearer at a time. So I guess it ticks up. What happens once you get to the last one? Does it go over? Do we keep going? I wonder. Let's keep reading. Ladies and gentlemen, you may want to sit back and grab a snack. The tempting ring is a multi-layered mechanic that's got a lot of moving parts. In order for any of this to start mattering, you're going to need to be tempted by the Brody show. Once the ring tempts you, you'll need to get the emblem. This is unlike the monarch in that it shifts control between players. Oh. What? Anyone can get tempted by the ring and get their own copy of the ring. Once the ring tempts you, you need to select a ring bearer. This will be a creature you control who gains the ability and the ring is able to grant. Every time the ring tempts you, you'll gain the following ability on the ring emblem above. The first ability you gain is the top one. Each time you're tempted, you'll gain the ability under that one you already have. All of these abilities pertain to your ring bearer. The first time you're tempted, you'll get the first ability on the ring immediately, allowing your ring bearer to become unblockable by creatures with power greater than itself. Once the ring's tempted you enough to unlock all the abilities provided, your ring bearer will be unblockable by creatures with greater power. It will loot on attack. It will cause your opponents to sacrifice a creature that blocked it at the end of combat. Combat damage will still be dealt, and it should connect. Should it connect with opponent, it will ding all your opponents for an extra 3 life. Do note that the first ability will make your ring bearer legendary, so be careful about choosing a creature you have multiple copies of. Nitty gritty stuff. Does that actually work if one is legendary and the other is not? This is nitty gritty stuff. This is the big new mechanic for Lord of the Rings set, and chances are multiple Magic players will be engaging with it. A whole bunch of corner cases will come up involving this. Hopefully this article can help to answer what will likely be the most common ones. Choosing a creature to become your ring bearer is not targeting ability. Your opponents cannot respond to your choice with their own actions. Once the ring tempts you, that trigger resolves. There is nothing stopping you from successfully choosing your ring bearer. You can only have one ring bearer at a time, and you can choose a new bearer each time the ring tempts you. It also means that you can decide to keep your ring bearer the same, but if you will not be able to have more than one. You do not need to control a creature to be tempted by the ring. The ring can still tempt you, but you will simply fail to choose a ring bearer. This will allow you to successfully unlock the next ability of the ring, regardless of your onboard state each time the ring tempts you. If you have all the abilities unlocked for the ring tempts you, again, you can simply choose another ring bearer and nothing else happens. Once you lose control of a creature or it otherwise leaves the battlefield, that creature will stop being your ring bearer. This doesn't mean that you can choose a new one. You must be tempted again to do that. How does the ring tempt you? Call of the Ring. Here's an enchantment card. At the beginning, it costs a black and 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, the ring tempts you. Whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. There's a preview card from MagicCon Minneapolis, which is recent, and is a fantastic representation of how the new Lord of the Rings card will be able to tempt you. A trigger on the card reads, "The ring tempts you. Congrats, you've been tempted by the ring." Call of the Ring is an absolutely ridiculous enchantment in black that is a commander player's dream. Not only do you get to develop your ring very quickly, but it can also draw you an extra card each time you choose a ring bearer at the cost of 2 life. For reference, you can be tempted by the ring multiple times in a turn, so this draw you a lot more cards than you think. You can get all this as an enchantment for dirt cheap of the manual value of 2, so this will allow you to get an additional value out of your other creatures that you care about, your ring bearer, which there may be a lot of. So more support for creature type decks. Very cool. Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth cards care about bearing rings. So this is Sauron the Necromancer. So we got a Sauron card for 5 mana, the Avatar Horror, 4/4 with Menace. Whenever Sauron the Necromancer attacks, exile 1 creature card from your graveyard. Create a tapped attacking token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a 3/3 black Wraith with Menace. At the beginning of the next end step, exile the token unless Sauron is your ring bearer. So we got the Sauron showing a preview alongside the above mechanics from Lord of the Rings crossover series, serving as an example. As an overarching trend of the sets, these cards get additional buffs when they're your ring bearer. Admittedly, this new Sauron is the most powerful card in the world. It's not the most powerful card in the world, and it definitely pales in comparison to the Call of the Ring enchantment. That said, it can be a strong tool for commander decks that care about reanimating their creatures. For 5 mana, Sauron the Aromancer is a 4/4 legendary avatar with Menace. Whenever it attacks, you'll exile a creature from the graveyard and create a 3/3 black Wraith token that gains Menace. Honestly, this ability is pretty powerful until you realize the spirit will be exiled at the next end step. This can create some gotcha moments with some crazy cards like Master of Cruelties, but it's hard to consistently accumulate value with this card unless you're the ring bearer. Alright, Sauron the ring bearer card spoiled. Very cool. I'm surprised they didn't make you take a poison each time you're tempted to. Time to make my marriage deck. Some call me 3. Good morning. I can't wait to mutate my Frodo into Godzilla and then mutate my Megatron into King Caesar. Personally, I'm not a fan of the outside mechanics, but Tommy Siddons, that's okay too. It's more gimmicks and more trinkets and more items to be excited about, right? It's kind of interesting. Why not? You know what that means? It's time. It's time again, folks. I want to thank you all for joining me again on this Monday edition of Morning Stocks and Talks. A little bit of MTG in the morning. We're talking bricks. The discussion. If you haven't done some research already, take a look at bricks. We're talking about the bricks, and not the kind you throw through a window. We're talking about the discussion on a new currency that could be coming up. We want to keep the fun in our collection, whether that means getting the magic cards that we want that cost a lot, or that actually give us the best bang for our buck. Is there enough information out there? Do you like tracking the prices of magic cards? Is there too much information? I like it. I'm doing it each and every day, Monday through Friday, and the weekdays. It's the Brody Show. I want to thank you all for joining me here this morning. Why was the pirate excited for school on Monday? She had art class. If you haven't gotten there already, we'll see you folks. We'll see if you haven't got there already. Bring a friend to Magic the Gathering. Bring a friend to Modern Mondays. And if you can't bring a friend to Modern Monday, bring a friend over to Brody's place. It's the morning Magic the Gathering Stocks and Talk Show here in the morning. Thanks again for tuning in. I gotta go. Sounds like the Pinkertons are at the door. They're gonna kick in the door and drag me out of here. There's too much fun and conversation going on here. Yes, sir. And if you're thinking of keeping the dream alive this morning, just hit the snooze button. We'll see you all again tomorrow on Tuesday on the Bro Show. Later, dudes. Little Ron Burgundy and my jazz flute.